On my computer, dude. Just one moment, setting things up. Little cat. My cat has become insatiable for butt slaps, and I won't slap her butt. I won't do it. Not right now. All right, my tender beauties. It's gamer time. You know what time it is. Ah, my fucking knee. It's bang your knee time. Come here, cat. Kitten cat. Aww. She's fascinated with my socks for some reason. I've only played this for 3 hours. The hell you say? Alright, hang on. I ate too much today. I feel like throwing up. There we go. That's not the right audio output, you silly thing.
All bets are off when you've got a new card from old Matty Dix.
So, I'm writing my novel, and I want to have at least one group of people that's unambiguously evil.
So this was the famed second move, Mayor Royam's masterpiece.
To subvert the whole Steven Universe narrative where everybody's redeemable, and you just got to show people love and understanding. I want one group that's just evil and cannibalistic, that have a sympathetic reason for being angry, but who have suffered rain degradation. since the time of their creation as a genetic experiment. So they can't be reasoned with. You just have to fight them. I want them to have a name evocative of vampires, but nothing with sanguine in the name because everything is taken. Hemophage, taken already. Sanguinarch, which sounds fucking metal as shit, taken. Everything to do with blood is taken. Don't think of it. I can't see your post. It's underneath a pop-up that I can't get rid of. It says subscribe to earn drops, and it covers up your thing. There we go. It's much less of a mic than you're imagining. So what do I call deformed? Let's see. They were an early experiment in making a new species of human by a biotech enclave called Crater Town, and they fucked up and gave them porphyria, also known as the vampire disease, albinism, and ichthyosis, which gives you like scaly skins. They're just in constant pain. They're not very clever. They're very revenge motivated. They need blood to survive. So they have to extract it from unwilling donors. And they can't stand sunlight. So they wear bandages on their skin all the time, and they wear black cloaks. I guess that part's just for aura farming. Let's see how loud my voice is. That's 100% audio. We never managed to fix that, did we? Let's turn your volume up. Oh, it's the Reddit voice.
The playing piece is blocked by an adversary. Defeat the adversary to advance.
The auto aim is simultaneously infantilizing and helpful. I feel like I'm better than this, but I'm not. I feel like a goiter. That's not a fun condition to have, but it's a fun condition to say. Goiter, goiter, goiter. You'll never stop me. The elites in their ivory towers want me to stop saying goiter, but I won't do it. That's handy. Um,
Playing peace has broken the wall.
oh, he just goes away. All right. How polite. That's a polite monster. What decides how much health looks right? Nope, never mind. The number in the upper right. How do I make sure?
Time bubble has appeared. Playing peace is blocked by an adversary. Destroy the adversary to advance.
Where's Dicey? Did Dicey fucking die? So I replaced the filter in my car. I bought the wrong one. It had nothing on the box to indicate it was for the engine. But I bought an engine air filter, and Amazon started doing some shit to me where they make it hard to return. I guess because I've been doing too many returns. Or they want me to ship it back at my own expense. So I just kept it, because I might need a new air filter for the engine. But I got a new cabin air filter. The other one didn't look too dirty, but it looked somewhat dirty, so it seemed like a good time. And it hasn't really helped my symptoms. I really worry that it's just an unsolvable problem. Where the fuck is the die? Where the fuck is Dicey? Oh.
Incoming bombers.
How many I got? Only one? Alright. It's a no-brainer. You know what this reminds me of is Moss. Remember Moss? I don't know how that looks for your game when I'm playing it. I think about better games I wish I was playing instead. Moss 1 and 2, man, what an enchanting experience. I hope there's it's sold well enough to make a Moss 3. That was so fucking charming and delightful. It enchanted me permanently. My face is just, it never came unenchanted. I got yeeted. This is getting dicey, you might say. I mean, you wouldn't, but you could. You could. There we go. Combat's a little bit awkward, but still mostly cool. They're fast. Why are they so fast? Oh, that hurt. That was not wise. You know, it's a good game that not enough people played. It's Edge of Nowhere. And not enough people will ever play it because it's locked to Oculus Rift. Not Oculus Quest. It's locked to the Rift, like, PC headset. It's a really good Lovecraftian cover-based stealth shooter type thing. Based on At the Mountains of Madness.
Oops, my bad. Mind went to a dark place there. This is what actually happened.
Well, this is tougher than expected. Shut the fuck up, Manidex. I didn't give this game enough credit. Could this be the next Dark Souls? No. Is the short answer to that.
Roll your dice and lead the playing piece into the structure of
Boy, it's painful that Sanguinarch was taken. I thought that was a jackpot.
the playing piece is blocked by an adversary. Destroy the adversary to advance.
Over there, I'm the British child. I can do
blocked
this.
by an adversary. Defeat the adversary to advance.
What I can't do is skip that cinematic. Fuck you. Unskippable cinematics are no bueno.
A slow time bubble has appeared.
As much as I appreciate some things they do artistically, you could reverse engineer the list of influences they gave to the artists to work from. It's like Tim Burton, Danny Elfman, Psychonauts. That's not necessarily bad. Those are good places to borrow from, but they really wear it on their sleeve.
Here come the bombers. More bombers.
You fucker. You know one thing I'm really thankful for how I was raised? I was not raised in a racist household. And it seems like a lot of people on social media today were. To where, like, they have an inexplicable, constant inner voice that pushes them to say slurs, and they feel like it's unreasonable to expect them not to. Like, everybody, like, they project that onto everybody. Thinking it's an Emperor's New Clothes situation. It's not. I was raised by conscientious objectors, pacifists. They're called Quakers, and they never uttered any such language around me. And I feel like parents who did say things like that around their kids kind of handicapped them, and that makes it really difficult until you get old enough that you're really able to control your emotions to hold down a job. I don't know why you'd want to do that to your son or daughter. And them acting like it's an asinine thing that they are potentially facing job loss for saying something that parents used to say all the time. They're telling on themselves a little bit, I think. Not everybody grew up that way. I did not want him to stick to my body. It's not what I wanted him to do. That's a dangerous ability. Mostly dangerous to me. That's all the damage that does? Man, what the fuck? That was dicey. Har har. You can't really steer while running. Lol. That's less lucrative in terms of crystals than just farming them normally. That didn't help at all. Get away. There's no breathing room. Leave me alone, leave me alone. You ever in a situation where somebody tries to fucking like call you out or get you in trouble or do some kind of damage to you, and then when you turn it around on them, they're like, okay, it's over now. It's like, no, it's not over. It's my turn to retaliate, but they don't. It's like the game is over once the tables have turned. That would be like in a war if a bomber were to do a bombing run on your city, and then when you take aim at it with your flat cannon, it's like, what are you doing, bro? All right, I swooped in, I did my damage, and I'm leaving. It's over, I'm leaving. Like hell you are. There are people Usually women. This isn't a misogyny thing, but it is usually a class of people who are unaccustomed to consequences and accustomed to favorable double standards, who will gamble on dirt they think they have, or putting words in your mouth or something in order to embarrass or get you in some kind of trouble. And if it doesn't work, then they jettison, they eject, and it's like that's the conclusion of the fight for them. Like, you got what you wanted, I'm backing off. Like, yeah, but you came after me, so I'm coming after you. We're done when I say we're done. There are just unbelievable people in the world who, because they have gotten away with something their entire life, they think that's normal and that's fair and how it should be. Little interactions like that are just like sandpaper on my brain. I never forget them. I'd probably be more mentally healthy if I did. If I let things go. That's what a lot of wise Yodas of the world say. But I won't. I won't do it. Would you slow down? There you go. This is a winner on paper. It's got the style, it's got elements of Pokemon to it, where you tell your little dice son to zap to the extreme. Just people who can dish it out but can't take it, thinking that they have a license to dish it out and then bail if it doesn't work. Like if they tell a lie about you and you happen to have an alibi or disproof on hand, and they're like, oh, well, all right, well, this concludes our argument. And I'm like, it's like trying to think of an analogy. It's like the opposite of Brer Rabbit and the Tar Baby, which I referenced too many times. I'm sure that's problematic these days. It's like somebody in a boxing ring where they tie one of your hands together to his hand, punching you once in the face and then cutting the ropes and running off, I guess. I have no projectile weapons. Brum, 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 brum. And if they are women, if you happen to get in an argument with a woman where she tries to cast aspersions on you, and she might panic if you manage to turn the situation around on her and you don't go along with the unspoken rule that you just let her get away and be glad of it. Be glad that she's stopping. Because that's when she starts pulling out the things like, oh, this guy's a creep, this guy's bothering me. Because she knows from life experience that makes other men come to her defense. Life is a lot like an RPG where many of the characters that seem the weakest are actually the strongest. Because they have some kind of enchantment. In this case, summon ally. fucking cornered me. The other thing that drives me crazy is when somebody is biased in a political or religious way, and they say, I won't trust what you're telling me until you find me a source that's my religion, and not just my religion, but my denomination, and not just my denomination, but a specific teacher within my religious tradition that I trust, telling me what you're telling me. And then when you find that for them, they say, well, I don't have to agree with him on everything. Where you jump through every fucking possible hoop, and they still are like, you know what I mean? Or for politics, it's like, I won't. That's a lamestream media article. I won't trust it unless it comes from a conservative site. So you find it from a conservative site, and like, well, that's not what I consider conservative. And so you're like, well, let me know what sites you'll trust. They tell you this list of sites they trust. You find the same information from one of those sites, and then they say, well, I still don't believe it. And you're like, I just jumped through like 6 hoops for you. You don't get to send me on a fucking snipe hunt or wild goose chase and then yank away the prize at the end. Sometimes I think people like that are just delaying defeat, and they're not seriously arguing. That's also a dangerous game to play, because if you oblige them and find the information they want from their sources, you're saying, basically tacitly saying their sources are the credible ones. So that's one way people lure you into their presuppositional framework. I can't get out of this mode. Zap to the extreme, Dicey. Thank you, Father, I will. I think the first time I saw that, the creep defense was a TikTok video of a woman who had dented a man's car in a parking lot by opening the door too hard. And when he confronted her, she was just like deer in the headlights. And I empathized somewhat because she was a small woman. And being, I guess, a naturally timid person, it was probably a frightening and traumatic experience to be alone with a shouting strange man. But the fact that her instinctive defense was to claim some kind of sexual impropriety because culture told her that that's like a loaded gun that she has pointed at all men all the time. I think the moral of the story isn't anything specific to any group of people. It's just that if somebody doesn't have any other weapons to use, they won't concern themselves with whether the weapons they do have are honorable or not. They'll only concern themselves with whether those weapons are effective. And people who are scared are not rational. They're in survival mode. Well, it's good to know you can set those bombs off with the slingshot. I actually touched on that in my books. In the future setting, it's like somewhat cyberpunk, but not obnoxiously so. Dolphins have been uplifted by a combination of genetic engineering and brain implants, and are full citizens. And they have to recover from centuries of jokes about rape caves. So they're very, very sensitive about that, and they often are very quick to claim discrimination just because they're catching up from a disadvantaged position. And there's a lot of stuff about them that is basically from the pre-uplift period, when they didn't have the benefit of self-awareness. And there's this dialogue between the main character and Remble, a cetacean businessman who tells a depressing joke about how he used to be able to swim in tropical water for free, but now he has to work in order to be able to afford to go on vacation to swim in the waters where he just used to live. And he talks about how people argue differently and to fight their battles differently if it's from an advantaged versus disadvantaged position. And how when you're fighting from a disadvantaged position, you don't think of yourself as weak, you think of yourself as cunning and crafty and virtuous and the underdog. And when you're fighting from an advantaged position, you think of yourself as divinely ordained and righteous, and that's just the order of nature, and that the other guy's just a whiner. But it's an artifact of perspective and implicitly justifying yourself. I guess the part of the point of there are times when, especially in Portland, where if I approach people I don't know, especially in an argument about politics or religion, there if there are obese women with rainbow colored hair present, they will immediately assume I'm a Trump supporter. When I have said nothing to that effect, I have not said word one to them. I think the point of that is just to put you on the defensive and get you to understand how discriminated against minorities feel, being that it's the same. It's the same thing, kind of. It's people assuming the worst of you based upon your race and your sex. But when you do that to people who haven't done it to anyone else, that just tends to alienate them. Cause their fucking head explodes when I tell them I'm not a Christian. They're like, "What? A what? A wiggity wiggity what?" Especially if I express some kind of opinion on on a social issue like transgender rights that is not in accordance with their own. Because atheist means a very different thing to these people. There are very few serious atheists anymore, and what it is it's a tribal identifier. It's a label by which they signal to one another that they hold entirely left-wing views, and they assume that's what it means when they hear it from anyone else too. So they think basically that you've lied to them if you tell them you're an atheist but you hold gender critical views, for example, because they thought that's what you meant. But then if you ask them, like, how do you know Christianity or Islam or anything is untrue? They can't tell you because they don't know any polemic, and they don't know any polemic because they're not really atheists. They're just non-Christians who adopted that label in order to undermine to subvert the social influence of evangelical Christianity, because it's the basis of right-wing cultural influence, which is not a good reason to pretend to have come to any sort of epistemic conclusions. But they do it. It's funny how the same word can mean completely different things, because some people are defining it literally and others are defining it as in a tribal way. Is it never ending? It's never ending. The worst thing is writers groups, because people will critique your writing from the standpoint of every book written from now on should be propaganda for my politics, and if it's not, then that's a flaw with the writing. And they don't characterize it that way. They characterize it as like like if you agree with me, you're a good person. And there's not a plurality of views on ethics in the world. There's good and there's evil. I'm good. Are you good or are you evil? Depends on if you agree with my politics. All of my views are correct. It just happens that I alone in all the world have arrived at the correct opinions on every single political issue of our day. My reasoning is perfect and unassailable. Either you agree or you're a demon. And if you do get into a misunderstanding like that, where they're hostile to you under the initial assumption that you're a Trump supporter, and then you explain that you're not to their satisfaction, it's, I guess, a faux pas to be upset at them for having come at you wrong. Because if their thinking is, if you're truly one of us, then you'll let it slide because we had our hearts that were in the right place, and you should understand and approve of what we were doing, even if we had a false positive. And if you don't agree with that, then we weren't wrong about you. If you can't do that forever though, Short Talk. If you can't run from danger, danger finds you eventually. It comes to you. I used to have way more problems with right-wing people because of their evangelical Christianity, but now with the next generation coming of age, there's way fewer sincere believers, which is why their marketing shifted. Their marketing now no longer tries to persuade anyone that it's true. Instead, they try to persuade you that it's manly, that it's a mark of high testosterone, and that you're a base Giga Chad if you're a trad Cath. Which is surprisingly more effective than trying to persuade people that it's true. Because if their belief is only based on sincerely thinking it's true, then you can break their belief by showing them it's not, which is increasingly easy to do in the internet age. But if their belief is based upon their self-esteem, basically, and they have invested their identity and sense of self-worth in this brand, you can't argue somebody out of that because they didn't arrive at that conclusion at reason. They arrived at it by wanting to build themselves up and feel good about themselves, which they're not going to let a stranger take away. I guess there's lessons to be learned here about marketing. Fucker. You shit. They're shameless about it too. I've seen a bunch of threads where they're like, what a coup d'etat it was to associate atheism with fedora neckbeards. Like, that did more for Christianity in 10 years than all of our prior propaganda did in 1,000. But that's the reality of marketing. If you rebel against it because it's illogical, you just won't get anywhere. You'll spin your wheels and you'll never persuade anyone because humans are not rational computers. It's all about fucking persuading people that aligning themselves with your ideals makes them, like, gives them free status that they don't have to go to the gym for, or they don't have to have money for. It's a costume they can put on that makes them appear larger and more powerful and imposing and desirable. Which is a big part of how fascist organizations recruit, is just saying, look at these costumes you can put on. You can march in perfect formation and look cool as hell, and you'll stop being just an ordinary loser. You'll be part of something larger than yourself, and we'll take down all the people who are the reason why you didn't succeed in life. Motherfucker. If it was all 6-year-olds in kindergarten, it would basically be a movement of giving you the chance to put on a Batman costume and pretend that you're Batman with a bunch of other in-group members. Something you can adopt without any cost to yourself except for devotion to the group, that elevates you effortlessly without having to accomplish anything. Yeah, but yeah, that used to be my go-to against right-wingers, but there's fewer of them now that are religious. It doesn't work anymore. And as that demographic shifts, I find less and less that I disagree with them about. And I shift more towards the center, and I'm pushed away from the left by their onward, downward spiral into the furthest possible reaches of critical theory and its deconstructionist bent, which just leads to an absolute dearth of meaning in the world. Nothing that means anything. With the good intentions of breaking down boundaries, but boundaries are also what define things and distinguish them from one another. And some of the things that they push for, the abolition of the family unit and urging repeatedly for certain groups not to reproduce, just seems pointedly, I don't know if it's evil, but anti-life and anti-human. Shit. Over here, over there. Over here, over there. I know entitlement gets talked about a lot, but there are kinds of entitlement I don't see discussed. Like people who are so deep into an ideology that they don't want anyone in their world who doesn't come to them already pre-programmed to think exactly the same way. The entitlement that everybody you meet will already agree with you and already live inside of the same presuppositional framework as you, and offense if they don't, as if them speaking to you is sort of the ideological equivalent of an alien invasion. Like you're your own little world, and everything in that world works a particular way according to certain assumptions. And so anyone who comes to you not with an internal world not based on those assumptions is an affront to your senses. There's also the entitlement to not be looked at by ugly people in public spaces, which is an ongoing debate about gym etiquette on Twitter, where on the one hand you have attractive women lamenting that they used to meet hot guys at the gym, and they're wondering why nobody talks to them at the gym anymore, and that sometimes those very same women, usually not the same ones, but sometimes in one or two instances, they'll also take a picture of themselves or video with a guy in the background who glances their way because they're wearing like tissue paper that clings to their crack, and they're doing it to humble brag that look at how attractive I am, that men can't keep their eyes off me. But in doing so, they basically throw that guy under the bus of furious internet discourse, mostly women who are angry about, not really about the man, but about the fact that he was looking at a more attractive woman in a lustful way. So there's all kinds of motives involved. The fact is that nobody is royalty. Nobody is a princess or a queen or anything else who has the right not to be looked at, not to be gazed upon by peasants, by commoners in a public space. That's pretty much like the notion, like the life you would have had to lead up until that point to get the impression that you do have that right. It's just spiritually grotesque to think of.
Oops, my bad. Mind went to a dark place there.
I think I've hit a.
This is what actually happened.
I will never admit I hit a skill ceiling in fucking Lost in Random. I wonder if we'll get to a point where we all have augmented reality implants and OnlyFans models can censor themselves in real life, and you have to pay a subscription to be able to see them. That just seems like a burqa with more steps.
Roll your dice and lead the playing piece in. The playing piece is blocked by an adversary. Destroy the adversary to advance.
How many times are we gonna have to do this? You shit fucker. Here, this will make it relatable. Probably you've dealt with people in your life where if you're discussing a contentious topic, they won't let you finish if they think you're going to make a point against their beliefs. You have to reassure them ahead of time that it's going to go in a direction they like and ultimately conclude that they're correct before they will let you finish speaking. Otherwise, they'll constantly try to argue with you by interrupting. I sometimes fear I'm not a people person. Also, the thing about people assuming your political orientation based on if you're religious or not goes both ways. I can't count the number of times that I've argued with a Christian, usually under Lilith, uh, I forget the name of it. There's like a few Twitter accounts that just bait people with religious debate questions, and she sets them up by knocking them down usually. But when they find out I'm not religious, they're like, oh, so I'm supposed to listen to someone who thinks that men can get pregnant? I'm like, I beg your McFucking pardon? What? What? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? If I say that, they only further assume that I believe it, because they really hope that I do, because they're starting out arguing from a disadvantage, which they know from experience. So they need to put me at a disadvantage in order to level the playing field and assign to me a belief that they know I can't defend, which I wouldn't try to. But stuff like that just drives me crazy and makes me want to go up to the mountaintop and be a hermit. And before you ask, yes, this channel is mostly me complaining about human beings. Oh, I didn't know it worked. I can trip them up with Dicey? No way. There we go. That's really useful. Oh, it doesn't... The hands don't... The cards don't get conserved between throws. That's really useful information. Shouldn't have done that. Has anyone else made the connection that anti-misgendering laws are basically blasphemy laws? Like they're one and the same, and the right has mostly accepted a world in which blasphemy laws no longer protect their beliefs, but the left is not? But they don't want to use that language because many of them are still emotionally invested in religion, which, fair enough. It's a way to live. But it's basically when you have gone so far out on an epistemic limb and you've made your entire identity and happiness depend upon unsupportable assumptions that you can only live your life if everybody else in the world humors you, and you have nothing to incentivize them to do that with except for threats of violence in some form, whether that's shooting somebody or punching them or just taking their livelihood away. And there's always an option just never to invest yourself that heavily in something you can't defend anyway. These are weak cards. There's the hammer. When I describe it that way, as unsupportable, emotionally invested beliefs that are central to your identity, that you have to pass laws to stop people from challenging. They're like, "Oh, you mean like religion?" I'm like, "Yeah, exactly. Like, you do realize that includes Christianity, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Christianity's false." And they're like, "Oh, what?" And you can see the fucking gears turning in their head. It's like, "Oh shit." My assumption that there is no possible reason whatsoever why a heterosexual white man would not be an evangelical right-wing Christian has turned out not to be true this time. It's got to be this time. You can't point to that and challenge their discernment outright and say, like, your assumptions are probably usually not true. They'll swear up and down they're usually correct, because confidence in your discernment is tertiary to confidence in your own mind and your own reasoning. That what they will accept as a halfway meeting point is, all right, this time, by a fluke, this time my assumption was not correct in your case, but usually it is. Let me get something. People are really protective of their prejudice. It's and really fucking important to them for one reason or another. I have a theory about that. I have a theory everybody gets hurt at some point in their youth. Ostracized, picked on, and whatever group does that to them, they wage war with for the rest of their lives. If they're immature anyway, they construct a worldview which lionizes them as a champion in a fight for good and evil, where evil is just whoever fucking picked on them at recess. You kind of see this happening in American History X. It also happened with the Northwest Front. If anybody out there doesn't know what that is, you're pure and I love you. But there was this guy who looked like John Hammond from Jurassic Park who tried to start the Northwest Front, which was a white ethno-state consisting of the Pacific Northwest. And his backstory is really funny. He basically got in an altercation in grade school where he called a bunch of POC youth a slur, and they beat the shit out of him. and after that, he dedicated his life to white nationalism, which is, I fear, probably a pretty common origin story. Of feeling like they were the victim and did nothing wrong, and the rest of their life is an attempt to rearrange reality to vindicate that view. What's good strategy if we're just talking, and I'm talking about things I hate that people do, which is a long list. Just attitudes, tactics.
Playing peace has broken through the wall.
Bam, 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 bam. Banjo-Kazooie ass music.
But playing peace is blocked by an adversary. Destroy the adversary to advance.
Another one is where someone just thinks they know better than you about everything and has the audacity to just start micromanaging what you're doing moment to moment, wanting to know everything about your thinking and your motives. Like, no, that's not the way to do it. Here's what you should do instead. And if you just give in, it's like letting go of the rope in tug of war. If you just say, okay, fine, puppeteer me, command me, I'm your robot slave, tell me exactly, give me exact instructions to do, I belong to you now, you can remote control me, they'll suddenly become self-aware that, oh, they were being a little bit too obtrusive, and I guess intrusive is the word that I want. And they'll back off a little and try to play it off like you're the one being silly. And if you do what they told you, and it turns out to be the wrong answer, do you think they take responsibility? Fuck no, they don't. They're like, well, why did you listen to me? The one slur I did hear a lot of growing up was the F word. And I've spent years trying to break myself with that because I have many lovely gay friends who I cherish very much. That used to be everywhere, though, in like the 90s and 2000s. Especially if you were a gamer.
Incoming forces!
Would you fucking leave me alone? Alright, so that's what I was doing wrong. It infinitely spawns ground enemies until you defeat that one master enemy.
Peace can now advance. The playing piece has broken the wall. The playing piece is blocked by an adversary.
Fucking out of
The
here.
adversary to advance. The playing piece is blocked by an adversary. Destroy the adversary to advance.
I would love to.
The blocking enemy has been defeated. The playing piece may advance. No, there's a slow bubble. There's a slow time bubble in the ballgame. Ah, the bridge is broken. The bridge incoming bombers.
Oops, my bad. Mind went to
Don't
a
you
dark
start
place
me all
there.
over. Oh, it's starting me all over. God damn it.
Actually happened.
I'm all the way back at the start. I hate this. I don't want to play this anymore. I hate this game. I gotta piss, BRB. I'm on attempt number 4, I think. Alright, let's try again. Maybe we can have any money at all. I don't see my money anywhere. I don't know how much I have. None of those are any good. Physical media, baby! I saw a webcomic recently about how a dude in the post-apocalypse in his bunker was looking forward to finally having unlimited gaming time, which is kind of a sociopathic way to think about the end of the world, but I digress. But he can't play anything because all of his games require an internet connection. I'm like, well, that's not a problem for 6th gen and before. Once again, Dreamcast is vindicated. Once again, TurboGrafx 16 reigns supreme. I had an energy drink. Are you kidding me? This is way too hard. I didn't catch that piece in that. I didn't see that one. I can't go back.
Blocked by an adversary. Destroy the adversary to advance.
It used to be slower. This is fucking bullshit. It's the little shitters that fuck me up. That's one of the tough things about writing young adult fantasy is figuring out enemies that teenagers with swords can realistically fight. In my book, they're defective, sort of stillborn robots that self-replicate but imperfectly, because the first one had a damaged 3D printer. So they're like missing armor and they're missing weapons. But this also gives the rationale for why, as they get closer to the final boss, the robots grow more complete and more dangerous. I guess in JRPGs you just make them fucking goated anyway and call it magic. Last time I heard a figure quoted, to have a high quality photorealistic human modeled and animated, or not animated, rigged, Costs $10,000. Is that still about what it runs? That really sheds some light on how people make their living doing custom avatars for VR chat. When you say you got it rigged, was it only the rigging? Or was it the model? It wasn't the modeling too? I said modeled and rigged. I didn't just say rigged. And I also said photorealistic modern graphics standard human. I didn't say a pre-existing model from a game with N64 graphics. There needs to be melee, like a way to knock him back. Technically, that's what I went to school for. I could be earning big bucks 3D modeling and rigging right now. It's really what I should be doing with my time, and not. I guess underwater hamsterology paid off, and writing will pay off. I believe it will.
A playing piece is blocked by an adversary.
You know what's tough about writing?
Adversary to advance.
When you have a shit memory and you have to maintain internal consistency and not have continuity errors, you can realize like 40 chapters in, there's like been a character along all the way who hasn't had any lines in like 10 chapters, and it's not clear that they're still present. You have to write in some character moments to justify why they're still part of the crew. Then you start to think, well, going forward, I need to make sure that the main cast of characters is as small as possible, so I don't have to do this again. And you also remember rules established early on in the story, like the magnetic goggles and wire traps, and then you realize, oh shit, they haven't used that again. I showed that off, and that it was a mechanic, and then they didn't use it. Like, there should have been a bunch of wire traps by now that killed them if they weren't using the goggles. But I wrote it in that only certain robots have spinnerets, and that they can only spin webs in cluttered areas like junkyards and the plague lands. And I wrote back in that Terran fucking remembers to use the goggles, and it wasn't too painful, but it could have been. It could have been. There have been situations where I painted myself into a corner. My choices then were either extensive rewrites or just deleting a concept from the story. The worst is when you forget that a character's dead, and you happen to mention them and just doing stuff and alongside the main characters, and nobody's surprised that they rose from the grave. You only realize it on the second read through, or like a vehicle gets destroyed, and then in the next scene the vehicle's back. It's like an AI hallucination or like a dream where if you look at something and look away, it changes when you look back. It's tough for someone with a Swiss cheese brain like me. What's also tough is finding out for the first time someone else had your idea before. When you're, again, like 30, 40 chapters in, then you have to tweak it so it's not so similar. One of the problems I've been running into is I have, like I said, a race of characters that's irredeemable, like the orcs in Lord of the Rings, because I just want to stick it to people who say there's no irredeemable races, and or shouldn't be. And they have albinism, they have porphyria, and they have ichthyosis. They're failed genetic experiments, so they have reason to be angry at Crater Town. But I want a name for them that suggests vampire, but all those are taken because there's so much derivative vampire fiction with almost not quite vampires that everything is used. The best I ever heard was Nox for Nocturnals. I think the worst I've heard was Sanguophage and Rimworld. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? And Hemophage was already taken by that point too, which is probably what he wanted to call them. I don't picture them like I guess kind of like the I Am Legend vampires, but more like Sloth from the Goonies, but really pale, with like veins showing through his skin, and like BDSM leather strap harnesses like from Mad Max. Well, that's kind of Farscape, isn't it? I also live in an age where I have to think about political correctness, so it may be an unsalvageable problem that my fantasy races are based upon birth defects. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I could just subtract all mention of the terminology. I guess I could just not spell it out. Would you fucking stop it? I keep getting shot in the fucking head. Leave me alone while I'm shooting.
The blocking adversary has been defeated. The playing piece can now advance.
All right. These cards suck.
The playing piece is blocked by an adversary.
Oh, you can jump into a new area while it's still paused. That's really useful to know.
The playing piece is blocked by an adversary. Destroy the adversary to advance. The blocking enemy has been defeated. The playing piece may advance. The bridge is down. Here come the bombers. More bombers.
Please give me 3. I said 3. That's the opposite of what I asked for.
The board game is nearing its end. Soon we shall have a winner.
Here we go.
The playing piece has broken the wall.
There we go. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna do it this time. There we go. Oh, you won't be happy about that.
Whoopsie. Even had a feeling she had broken the moon, and that somehow Mayor Royam wasn't too happy about that.
Hive mind. That doesn't sound like my moon. Stratic, if you're not wrong, but also Psychonauts and Tim Burton. Am I wrong? Do you see what I see? Oh, he's like Ricky Berwick. I love him.
Even, what did you do? At one moment, Royam was a part of me, overseeing the construction. And in the next, he torn himself free and went off howling at the moon. There's no saying what he's capable of now that he's free from my influence. You taught him to rhyme? Oh no, there's no telling what he'll do now. Be very careful, even. I don't know what happens next. We're in uncharted territory here. Whatever you do. Be careful.
Also looks like that one claymation film about Darwin. Charles Darwin, you know the one?
Charles here.
Can I have a better card? I only have 175. Here we go. That's actually a good card. I'll take that one. Yay, more combat. That one's even quicker. How are you meant to do anything? Oh, Darcy can be knocked down too. That's not good. I gotta use the thing where it trips them up more. Come on. That's one of the low-key most useful moves in the game. tripping them up using Dicey because it's free. I can do it. I can do it. Don't worry. I got this. How do you... No, I don't have enough for that. How do you rack up, the upper right-hand corner number? I have no idea what to call it. Is that not enough? See the number in the upper right hand corner. How do I get more? So far I've not seen any way to do that. Over there! There we go. Are we done? Please tell me we're done. No, we're not done. This one looks stronger than others. That's lazy. It's a palette swap. That's I haven't seen that since Sega Genesis beat 'em ups. Or I guess Final Fantasy on NES. Palette swapped enemies that are just the same model but different color. They're tougher versions. I should play the second Alice game. I never streamed that for some reason. It's not a good place to be. They prevent you from running all the time by just making you less agile, which I guess is fair as a way of balancing out. Otherwise, yeah. See, I can't. My turn radius is fucked. You would think stabbing a child once would kill them. Don't quote that. Don't clip that. That's unclippable. Why are you British? I didn't agree to video game characters being British. Is that woke? I can't tell if that's woke. To have a British in my game. There we go. I already have that. Does that increase the spawn frequency? That might be handy. They still got past the first board game. That was kicking my ass. Before I understood that the enemies would spawn indefinitely until I got a projectile weapon. I never said I was a smart man. I stepped on the story button.
Oh, hello there, Even, you little monster.
Royam.
You come here into a town full of strangers, and the first thing you do is destroy my beautiful moon. Oh, Even, you've made me very angry.
Look, if you just give me the eyes, I'll...
These eyes? You
Yeah.
want me to give them to you?
No!
Giving you anything, child?
Honest, when I gave you rhymes, you said I earned them, and...
Oh, you have earned something. Take a deep breath, Even, because it's the last thing you'll ever take from anyone.
He's got a point. She did destroy his moon.
Foolish little girl, you're going to lose. because I rhyme tight when I follow my personified force of creativity. I was going to say that. Quiet!
You were not.
Stop robbing me of my rhymes before I get to them.
Was that how I heard him?
I may ride this lyrical flow, got it? Crusher!
Oh boy, more combat. Oh, he's got crystal nipples. How do I dodge that? There's no way to dodge. How do I dodge that? There's no way to dodge it. Those are nipples, right? You see what I see? There has to be a dodge. What if I get close to him? What if I get close to him, I can dodge. Why am I shooting his nipples? That didn't work.
My robots will reduce your steam to gelatin, leaving nothing but a deep. All right. Time to rhyme battle. I hope your loved ones are ready to cry, because in a few moments you're going to. Dang, that is good.
Lol. Fuck. It says throw, so nope, that didn't work. You really overuse this battle loop. I'm stuck in the corner. That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. I'm stuck in the corner. You can't do that to me.
Oops.
You stupid, you incompetent fucking game developer. You absolute chimpanzee.
What actually happened?
You should not have been able to pin me in a corner and just wail on me. That fucking sucks.
Little girl, you're going personified by stop.
There's no way to dodge that. Nope, there's no way to dodge that. I never get enough points for what I need either. What the fuck was that collision? Man. I'm gonna be a great old man, just grumpy about people all the time. I'll never stop complaining. That doesn't check out with me. There we go.
I'll try to not let it go to my head that I'm the reason will soon be resting in peace.
Dad! How are you so bad at this? Come on, get on!
Oh, I see. I think I get it.
Let's see how you handle this one. You thought you were a knight, but you're a knave, and I'm gonna send you to an early death hole. I was getting there. I was gonna get there in 1 second.
Come on. Fuck. I don't get to use his gun. I should get to use his gun. I like that you get a free hit. Come on.
To me, you're just an annoying butt, and my robots are gonna tear out your guts. Yes, your guts. Ah, ha, ha.
Come on, come on. That should be more dodgeable than it is. I've got him on the ropes.
This is the rhyme that's going to end your time here in Random. My parents wanted me to be a goat herder, but
That's
I'd
not a
much
word.
rather be an even. Silence! I was going to think of that eventually.
Oh, that hurts him. Oh, fuck, that's a lot of them. That's not fair. Doing both of those at once.
I hope people won't think you're too sorry when they discover that you are dead.
You're in first! So, over there!
No! No, 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 no! No, no, I was within a centimeter of beating him. That was too many enemies and his sweep was too powerful, and you lean too much on the fucking combat in this game, which is Fun, but not this fun. Ah!
Foolish little girl, you're going to lose. Persona, I was stop.
That's not fair. That's really hard to avoid. Gonna go under his arm. Easier said than done. It's hard to tell which one's gonna be. That didn't work. He was during iframes. Doesn't fucking hurt for shit. I'm already down to half health.
All right. I hope you'll die.
What a fucking goofy, unserious game. That didn't work. We're still have shit cards. That worked. What is this music? Like, what is it evoking? The harmonica. Alright, come on. Full health.
I'll try to not let it go to my head that I am the reason will soon be resting in peace.
Dad! How are you so bad at this?
How do you dodge that? How does one dodge that? Oh, this is the game.
My parents wanted me to be silent.
There we go.
My robots will reduce your steam to gelatin, leaving nothing but a gleaming white.
My rhymes were deadly. You'd be invincible, Royal.
No! It's so hard.
This
Ah! What's the strat? What is the strat that I'm missing? I'm miserable. I don't want to do this over and over and over. I'm not having fun.
Foolish little girl. Persona. Stop.
Okay, his forearms have no clipping. That seems to be the strat. Nope. Oh yes, but I'm not good at it. That didn't give me a chance to do anything. This is fucking bullshit. That's not fair. There's no way around that.
All right.
You mean motherfucker. Bloody, fuck you. Fuck you, bloody. I see why they do that. It's fun to say. Come on, come on. Maybe this is Dark Souls. That'd be Dark Souls.
To me, you're just an annoying bot, and my robots are gonna tear out your guts. Yes, your guts. Ah, ha, ha.
Come on, come on.
Let's see how you thought you were a knight, but you're a knave. And I was
Would he believe Grave? I mean, Cave? Come on. That's half my health out of nowhere. There we go. Now I stand a chance. There we go. Come on. I can't afford anything. That's too real. I play games to get away from that.
My robots will reduce your steam to gelatin, leaving nothing but a gleaming white.
Gelatin skeleton.
That rhymes with deadly. You'd be invincible, Ryan.
Damn, that's a good one. I didn't even think of that.
This is the rhyme to end your time here in random. My parents wanted me to be a goat herder, but I
The fuck is a herder?
I was going to think of that.
I got him on the ropes. I just have to not fuck this one up. That's a lot of them, though. I'm not gonna die again. Not now. No, you can't do that.
No.
You can't do that.
What happened?
That's not.
Let's try this again.
That's not fair. It's not fair. I always die right at the end because if you combine the robots with the sweep attack, I can't do anything. It just wipes out my health too fast. I might just rage quit and play a different game. Frankly. I don't see any reason to go on playing this.
Foolish little girl, you're good. Personified. I was going to.
It stops being. It wasn't funny the first time.
Of my
But do it 100 times and it's even less charming. How do I dodge that? Maybe I could blink dodge through it. I totally forgot I could do that. That might be the meta. That seems to help.
All right. Time. I hope your love died.
Alright, he's a little funny. I love this weapon. Why can't they all be like this? Yeah, but you can blink through them. That's what I was doing wrong. Okay, now I get it. And I still forget to.
I'll try to not let it go to my head that I'm the reason will soon be resting in peace.
Dad! How are you so bad at this?
Damn you!
I think.
Fucking Jack Skeleman. Yep, I can blink dash through them. I'm stupid, it turns out.
You thought you were a knight, but you're a knave. And I'm gonna...
I guess you can fuck that one up too. I realize now I've been neglecting an entire mechanic this whole game. The combat's not lousy, I'm just dumb, a big sexy dummy man. I guess this checks out. Kids are fast. Remember being a fast little kid and using your child speed to avoid having your ass beat by your dad. And you get so mad. I think that's probably why Sonic the Hedgehog resonates with children so much. Eggman is just their dad, and they're constantly running away. Oh, that's dark.
To me, you're just an annoying butt, and my robots are gonna tear out your guts. Yes, your guts. Ah, ha, ha.
I couldn't stay mad at this guy. He's just too goofy. I understand now. I shouldn't have blamed that on the game. That was wrong with me.
That's going to end your talk. My parents wanted me to be in silence.
Here we go. I just have to not fuck up now.
I hope people think you're too sorry when they discover that you're dead.
You're embarrassed of yourself!
This'll do. I'm doing a lot better this time.
My robots will reduce your skin to gelatin, leaving nothing but a gleaming white.
Everyone protect me! You're invincible, Ryan.
It's a bit tricky. I can do it though.
Get him, Dicey! Get him, Dicey! Get him, Dicey!
You fucker. There we go. Gotcha, you son of a bitch!
Oh, I won't go back. I can't go back. It's not fair.
Any of those work. The coup de grace. Ew! Is he still in there?
Colossal and terrifying upside-down mayor is now stored inside a different and nicer mayor's head. Even and Dicey had done an excellent job. But I was doing an excellent job narrating it. Not that they will never realize.
I don't see the point of that.
Learning the world was even stranger and more threatening than in the stories her mother told her. But she was also learning that she didn't have to face it completely alone. Now, all
Indeed.
Even and Dicey had to do was return the eyes to Seymour. With his vision restored, he'd be able to give Dicey his third pip, which would be all they needed to open that infernal, mysterious gate to Three Town.
Hot damn. That's progression, baby.
They'd made it. Even and Dicey had survived. And what's more, defeated Royal, the dark side of the man. But the journey was far from over. Sorry, I'll be quiet now. I just get so carried away sometimes. It's just so exciting being a storyteller. Okay. Now, I'll be quiet.
It is good to be home once again. Because he's a part of me.
This is your Jungian dark side.
If you cut off a limb, you'd want it back too, wouldn't you? Furthermore, I Thank you for your help, Ethan. Without him, I'm not the same. But with him, I'm accomplished. He says hello, by the way. He says he hopes to see you again, very soon. It's been a very strange time for us here too, Ethan. But in strange. Goodbye, Ethan.
Peace! Gotta find my homie Seymour.
Even went to give
Oh, sick.
Seymour his eyes back. I'm positive he was dying to make eye contact with his pupils once again. And wait a minute. He's a terrible. I'll edit them out later.
I don't see anything good. Actually, this looks pretty good. Those all look much better than the ones I had so far. If they're self-aware about it, why do they keep doing it?
Long story.
Sounds like Jake the dog.
Rise, Seymour.
Oh, my peepers and weepers! Oh, I've missed you so much! Much better. And as for those
Eyes don't work that way.
it just takes a little precision, utmost finesse, and... Done! Good as new, little buddy! Hey, my pleasure. Thank you for helping me properly see again. Not everyone would have done what you did, and old Seymour here will never forget that. So, what are you gonna do now? I know you'll find her even. You found my eyes. They're probably way smaller than your sister, right? Oh, there you have it. Well, wish you well on your next adventure. And if I could give you some semi-solicited advice, every roll of the dice matters, but not every roll counts. Isn't it though? It's so fun. Bye, even. I'll miss you, but I'm sure we'll see each other again in far-off places.
Foreshadowing.
The girl was a long way from home, about to enter the land of three. Who knew what adventures awaited her there? The answer is me. I do. I'm the narrator. But even in Dicey, the adventure was just beginning. And Even's sister was still out there, somewhere, lost in random.
He said the thing. He said the title of the game. Who am I now? Can't tell. Oh Lord, it's getting large. This is some kind of symbolism. Ooh, what does it mean? What does it mean? Where can I go? Nowhere except for the next story beat. Okay. This is kind of walking simulator in parts.
Home, I guess.
Oh, is this a fast travel system? Have I not found this yet?
Don't touch that!
Step on me, mommy.
Mustn't ever touch that odd. Ever. Never touch it again. Because I desire it all. You're 12. There are things you don't understand yet. Anyway, forget it. Because I have something for you.
Booba!
Something special.
Is it breast milk?
No, you can't have anything. But you can earn it. Go on, try it. I had it made just for you.
Oh, I don't like this. Why am I dressed like that? I look like a clown. I guess all girls are clowns. Oh, burn, maybe.
Above Even was one of the Queen's royal spiders, the kind that had taken away Arden on that terrifying night. They were the collectors of children who were to become Sixers.
Come on, Darcy! We can't let it get away! Hurry! She's in that sight! Not today, spider monster!
Very spirited reading. She earned a paycheck.
You! Wait! Wait!
Does that mean my sister's dead? Otherwise, why would it be a ghost?
See those robots? What do you mean you've seen bigger?
Get on my back.
Come on!
There you go. No, you detached again. I didn't say you could do that, you little bitch. You keep fucking hopping off. They really need to innovate the combat.
I always knew I was a Sixer at heart. I knew! I'll do all sorts of important work for the Queen while Bernard mops the floor. Hey, where is Bernie? Bernard is gone!
A Sixer child is missing! I repeat!
Look! It's Bernie! From back home! Of course we should help him.
Bernie
He's really
Sanders
alive out here.
in this game.
The spiders seem impossible to get into at the moment. Oh, but perhaps Bernie would know how to get to her sister. Even you.
Come on! We've got to find him!
Oh, yes, yes. Time was of the essence. I was done anyway.
We got a medieval mecha.
Freedom was a district tearing itself apart in a three-way civil war.
I was wondering what they were gonna do.
A murdered father. Three siblings, each suspecting the other of the deed. A giant battle droid, given to each by the Queen to settle the matter.
Another mommy to step on me. Is there no end to the muscle mommies in this game? She's got that Marie Antoinette hair. Let them eat cake. I'd eat her cake.
Heck, most of us here are.
What happens if I ring this bell? It does nothing. Cool. Radical.
Oi, oi, Matty Dixit. Oh, hello. You've made it to Three Town, have you? Be careful here. Don't mix around. And then again, that just... So,
Let's get some of those good new cards. With 0 money. Never mind. Alright, this moves at some point. Although I don't know how yet.
Why'd you ask, stranger? What's your motivation in all of this? Oh, how heartbreaking for you. How tragic, you poor child. Oh, heavens no. That sort of thing wouldn't interest me at all. Good grief, spying on people. Oh, I make a point of not remembering anyone I see in public. Privacy is very important to me, you understand. What with that paranoid count demanding full report?
Fascinating. Fascinating. Greetings. I'm doing a survey for the Upper Class Gazette. Do you have a moment?
I don't.
Come see me if you...
No, no thank you. What the fuck are you? Look at this One Piece character.
Attack has begun! The king must be saved! What? Identify yourself, stranger! I am Nishka, and I used to protect somebody important, I think. A ruler, maybe? Before the war. Oh, even, you sweet child. You can't keep clinging to the past. The king's dead and gone now for years. Don't you remember? What? How did you know my name? What? The king?
Oh, alright.
Oh boy, I can't wait to get back home. But I can't get back home without knowing the way, or can I? Oh, hey, mister. Do you know the way to one?
Oh shit, it's Diddy.
Wow. You want a hug? Okay. Ooh, wow. It's pretty cold in here. And dark too.
What am I to make of that? Did it save my game?
Alive? I thought I saw one running around here recently. A young lad. Boxy clothing, can't say that. But you better find him quick before the Shadow Man does.
Don't care. Didn't ask. Didn't ask, don't care.
kids never run around here unsupervised. That's what the Shadow Man is. All I know is that if a kid's missing, shot. As well they should.
Okay, so there's a Shadow Man.
Leave me alone. I'm busy. Well, good luck with that, stranger. If there's a kid running around unattended, the Shadow Man probably... Oh, you really are in your head. Oh, you are clever. If you stay a spell, all Margarine Took can tell you about him, the Shadow Man. He was born in the time of the First Nightmare, and he lives on to this day. But not like you or I. He lives in the walls of Mulgrew Alley. And he can, if he were merely a ghost, goodbye.
Alright, so I gotta shoot out the lights. Nope. That would be narratively correct. but you can't shoot out lights.
You want to know about the Shadow Man. You want to know about the Shadow Man.
Yep, you said that.
The Shadow Man comes when night is day, and you might cry and you might pray, but the Shadow Man comes when night is day. He don't like shine, and he snuff out money grow out his nose. Then sound to me. You want to know about the Shadow.
You want to know about the Shadow Man. Here's candy. Does the Shadow Man give out candy? That's pretty sus. You want to know about the Shadow Man. Look at the little Jawa. Oh, it's cute. I remember them from Two Town. I guess that's how they recycle assets. They're not going to have unique NPCs for every town. We talked about the cost of modeling and animating. This is, I think, the first unique... One of the few unique assets in this area of the game is that NPC right there that we can't fucking make words. I don't know why. Here's another one. Never mind.
Yes, the war zone was no place for...
Alright, so we need to fool him somehow. It's going to be World War I Kino, it looks like. That looks like a trench to me. I don't know about you. I do feel more confident in my ability to get through the game now that I understand that I fucking have dash and always have had it. I would have gotten the blink dash earlier if I'd known how good it was.
This bell belonged to my family, don't you know? It still does, I suppose. I'm noble, you understand. Heck, most of us here, it belonged to the triplets. And before then, it belonged to the Lord. Just so. But you know, I have another distant relative, a cousin of mine, that I haven't heard from. If I could see her again, I'd tell her that I miss her. That's all. It's silly, but you never think of the people you care about until they're no longer in your life. And it would do my heart good to know that she knows I do miss her. But it's too dangerous for me to go stumbling around the battlefield. Please excuse me.
Give Greta a ring. Is that Greta?
If I could see her again,
It's not.
I'd tell her that I miss her. That's all. It's silly, but you never think of the people you care about until they're no longer in your life.
I guess I'm gonna be quitting now. It's 10:30. I hope we don't start that whole area over. Things did get a lot more interesting now that we're at a two-town though. There's plots really moving along. Wow, Friday already, end of the week. Tomorrow I'm gonna eat a bunch of mushroom gummies because it's Saturday, and then I'm gonna sit down and write a dozen more chapters, which I'll harass friends with because they promised to do beta reads for me. What I didn't tell them is I would constantly update revised drafts, so they'd have to switch to new copies and pick up where they left off. I don't think any of them have started yet. Occupational hazard, also hazard of having a writer friend. But I'm proud that even people who don't like horror can appreciate this because it's not really there's a little bit of everything in it, something for everyone. So get at me again on Monday. Same time, same ham channel at 7 o'clock p.m. West Coast time, 11 o'clock p.m. That's your friendly neighborhood ham dad signing off, returning you to your regularly scheduled raid. Who's it going to be? Short Talk. Hamster flag. Nice.